Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the alien fleet grow larger on his screens. Hundreds of ships filled the space around Earth. Their dark hulls blocked out the stars. Jake had never seen so many alien vessels in one place before. The communication system crackled to life. A cold voice spoke in perfect English. "Humans of Earth, this is Commander Veltar of the Galactic Federation. You will listen to our final message." Jake clenched his fists. He knew this day would come, but seeing it happen still felt like a punch to the gut. The Federation had been watching humanity for years. They said humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable. They said human ideas would corrupt the peaceful galaxy. Admiral Lisa Carter's voice came through the ship's speakers. She was speaking from the command center on Luna Base. "All Earth Defense Fleet ships, hold your positions. Do not fire unless fired upon." Jake wanted to scream. The alien fleet could wipe out every human ship in minutes. Earth's defenses were nothing compared to the Federation's technology. But Admiral Carter was right. Fighting would only give them an excuse to kill everyone. The alien commander continued speaking. "The Galactic Federation has decided that humanity poses a threat to galactic peace. Your species shows dangerous levels of creativity and independence. You refuse to follow proper order. You ask too many questions. You change too quickly." Earth below, billions of people watched the sky. They saw the alien ships hanging over their world like storm clouds. Children pointed at the strange lights while their parents pulled them inside. News reporters spoke in hushed voices about the end of everything. Jake thought about his daughter Sarah. She was only 8 years old. What kind of future would she have now? What kind of future would any human child have? The alien voice grew, colder. "We offer you mercy that other dangerous species did not receive. You will be allowed to leave this system alive. You will take only basic ships and supplies. You will go to the outer rim of the galaxy where you cannot harm civilized worlds." Admiral Carter's private channel opened to all fleet commanders. Her voice was steady, but Jake could hear the pain underneath. "Captains, we have no choice. We cannot win this fight. We must think about saving our people." Dr. Alex Rodriguez was in his laboratory when the announcement came. He was Earth's top scientist, working on new types of engines that could travel faster than anything the Federation had. His hand shook as he watched the alien fleet on his computer screen. Years of work, years of dreams, all ending because aliens were afraid of human potential. His assistant, Maya Thompson, ran into the lab. "Doctor, Admiral Carter is ordering all research facilities to prepare for evacuation. We need to pack everything we can carry." Alex looked around his lab. Computers filled with research data, prototype engines that could change everything, models of ships that could explore distant galaxies. How could they pack a lifetime of human knowledge into cargo containers? Maya grabbed his arm. "Doctor, we have to go. The Admiral says they're only giving us basic ships. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, passenger liners. Nothing with advanced weapons or engines." Alex nodded slowly. The Federation was smart. They were giving humans just enough technology to survive the journey to the outer rim, but not enough to ever become a threat again. It was like giving a bird clipped wings and telling it to fly to safety. Across Earth, the evacuation began. Families packed what they could carry. Scientists destroyed research they couldn't take rather than let it fall into alien hands. Military officers wept as they shut down defense systems that had protected Earth for generations. In the port cities, massive cargo ships landed to take on passengers. These ships were never meant to carry people across the galaxy. They had been built to haul ore and supplies between planets. Now they would become humanity's lifeboats. Jake watched from his ship as streams of transport vessels rose from Earth's surface. Each one carried thousands of people away from the only home humanity had ever known. Some ships headed for Mars to pick up colonists there. Others went to the mining stations around Jupiter. The alien fleet watched but did not interfere. They had made their point. Humanity was being expelled from civilized space like criminals being banished from a city. Admiral Carter appeared on Jake's screen. Her face looked older than it had that morning. "Jake, I need you to do something for me. Something not on any official record." Jake leaned forward. "What do you need, Admiral?" "Take your ship to Research Station Alpha. Dr. Rodriguez and his team are there with something important, something the aliens cannot know about. Bring them to the convoy, but keep their cargo separate. Hidden. Jake understood. Even in defeat, Admiral Carter was thinking ahead. She was making sure humanity's best minds and ideas would survive the exile. The aliens thought they were sending humans to die slowly in the empty spaces between stars. They didn't know about human stubbornness. The next few days passed like a nightmare. Ship after ship left the solar system, carrying millions of humans toward an uncertain future. The alien fleet watched everything, counting ships and scanning cargo holds. They wanted to make sure humans weren't taking anything too advanced. On the last day, Jake's ship joined the final convoy leaving Earth. Behind them, their blue and green world grew smaller until it was just another point of light. Ahead lay the vast darkness of space and the unknown worlds of the outer rim. Dr. Rodriguez sat in Jake's cargo hold, holding a small device that contained plans for technologies the aliens had never imagined. Maya Thompson worked at a portable computer, copying research data onto hidden memory cores. Around them, other scientists and engineers did the same. Jake spoke over the ship's communication system to the thousands of people in the convoy. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning of something new. The aliens think they're sending us a way to forget about us. They're wrong. We're going to build something they never expected, something they never saw coming. The human fleet flew into the darkness, carrying with them the seeds of an empire that would one day span the stars. 50 years had passed since the Great Exile, and Commander Ryan Brooks watched the sunrise over New Haven Colony through his office window. The red star cast strange shadows across the mining complex, but Ryan had grown used to it. This world, in the outer rim, had become home to 20,000 humans who refused to give up. The aliens had been wrong about one thing. They thought the outer rim was a wasteland where humans would slowly die off. Instead, humans had found something here that the comfortable Federation worlds didn't have. Freedom to try new things. Freedom to fail and try again. Freedom to become something more than they had been. Ryan's communication device buzzed. "Commander, we've got another breakthrough in Sector 7, came the excited voice of Maya Thompson. She was older now, her hair gray, but her enthusiasm for discovery had never faded. Ryan walked through the colony's corridors, passing workshops, where human engineers worked alongside alien refugees who had also been cast out by the Federation. A Vraxian mechanic with 4 arms worked next to a human woman, both of them laughing at some shared joke. Nearby, a young Altarian showed human children how to grow crystal formations that could power their computers. The mining tunnels went deep into New Haven's crust, but humans weren't just digging for ordinary metals. They had discovered something the Federation's scientists had missed. Dark matter wasn't empty space between atoms. It was alive with energy that could be harvested and used. Maya met Ryan at the entrance to the deep labs. Her eyes sparkled with the same excitement she had shown 50 years ago when they first left Earth. Behind her stood a young woman with confident eyes and steady hands. "Ryan, meet Emma Wilson. She's the one who cracked the dark matter code," Maya said proudly. Emma stepped forward and shook Ryan's hand firmly. "Commander, what we found down there changes everything. Dark matter isn't just theoretical physics anymore. We can touch it, shape it, use it to travel between stars faster than anything the Federation has." They took the elevator down into the planet's core, where human technology hummed quietly in chambers carved from solid rock. The walls glowed with a soft blue light that came from dark matter condensers. Emma led them to a room where a small spacecraft sat on a testing platform. "This is our prototype," Emma said, running her hand along the ship's smooth hull. "We call it a phase drive. It doesn't move through normal space like Federation ships do. It slips into dark matter streams and rides them across the galaxy." On stared at the ship. It looked different from anything he had ever seen. The hull seemed to shift and change as he watched it, like it wasn't quite solid. "How fast can it go?" Emma smiled. "From here to the Centauri system in 3 hours. From here to Earth in 2 days. The Federation's fastest ships would take months for the same journey." Maya placed her hand on Ryan's shoulder, That's not the best part. Dark matter is invisible to their sensors. They can't see it, can't track it, can't even detect when we're using it. As far as they know, we're still stuck out here in the rim worlds, slowly dying off. Across the galaxy, other human colonies were making their own discoveries. On the ice world of Crystal Falls, humans had learned to work with Catherian ice shapers to build cities that could change their structure at will. The buildings grew like living things, adapting to weather and expanding when more people arrived. General Patricia Cole stood in the command center of Shadow Base, a military facility hidden inside an asteroid belt. Around her, screens showed the positions of human ships throughout the outer rim. What had started as scattered refugee groups had become something much more organized. "General, we're getting reports from all sectors," said her aide, Lieutenant Kevin Santos. "The trading networks are working. Human merchants are moving between systems, carrying messages and supplies. The aliens think we're just desperate traders trying to survive." Patricia nodded. The Federation allowed some trade in the outer rim because they thought it was harmless. They didn't realize that every human trader was also a messenger, carrying information between colonies and slowly building connections across hundreds of light years. Kevin continued his report. "The Zalani uprising on Korath 7 was successful. They've driven out the Federation garrison and declared independence. They're asking for our help to stay free." Patricia looked at the star map. The Federation controlled the inner systems with an iron fist, but their grip was weakening in the outer regions. Oppressed species were starting to fight back, and they were learning that humans made excellent allies. "Send them weapons and advisors," Patricia decided. "But make sure nothing can be traced back to us. The Federation still thinks we're too weak to be a threat." In another part of the galaxy, Dr. Alex Rodriguez sat in his laboratory on the research world of Haven Prime. His hair was completely white now, but his mind was as sharp as ever. Around him, human and alien scientists worked together on projects that would have been impossible under Federation rule. His current project involved something the Federation had declared impossible: consciousness transfer, the ability to move a person's mind from one body to another, or even into a computer system. The Federation said it was too dangerous, too unpredictable. But Alex had been working on it for decades. Emma Wilson's voice came through the laboratory's communication system. She was calling from New Haven, excited about her latest discovery. "Dr. Rodriguez, we've done it. The first successful long-range phase jump. Our ship traveled 500 light-years in 6 hours." Alex smiled. Emma had been his best student, and now she was leading humanity's greatest breakthrough. "Excellent work, Emma. How did the ship handle the transition?" "Perfectly smooth. No stress on the hull, no radiation exposure for the crew. It's like the ship just stopped existing in one place and started existing in another." Alex made notes on his computer. Phase drives would change everything. Humans could now travel anywhere in the galaxy without the Federation detecting them. They could visit oppressed worlds, make contact with other exile species, and build alliances the Federation would never see coming. In the outer rim, humanity was growing stronger every day. They were learning things the Federation had never imagined. They were making friends the Federation had thrown away. They were becoming something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. The aliens thought they had solved the human problem by banishing them to the empty edges of space. They had no idea they had just given humanity the freedom to become everything they were meant to be. In the darkness between stars, humans were planting seeds that would one day grow into an empire. 100 years after the Great Exile, President Samuel Hayes stood in the council chamber of Liberty Prime, looking out at representatives from 47 star systems. The room buzzed with conversations in dozens of languages as humans, Vraxians, Altarians, Cathinians, and many other species worked together to plan their next moves. Liberty Prime itself was humanity's greatest achievement. The entire planet existed in a pocket of dark matter space, invisible to Federation sensors. Ships could only find it if they knew exactly where to look and had the right phase drive technology. To the rest of the galaxy, it was just empty space. Samuel called the meeting to order. His voice carried the authority of someone who had spent decades building something the Federation thought impossible. Friends, we gather today to discuss the state of our Union. Admiral Foster, please give us your military report. Admiral Nicole Foster stood up from her seat. She was tall and confident, with the bearing of someone who had never lost a battle. Behind her, holographic displays showed star charts with hundreds of marked positions. Mr. President, the Shadow Fleet now operates in 73 systems. We have successfully completed another dozen liberation operations this quarter and Federation forces still have no idea who is responsible. The displays showed footage from recent operations. Human ships appearing out of nowhere, striking Federation outposts, and vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. The ships were beautiful and deadly, combining the best of human engineering with alien biotechnology. Captain Marcus Bell, head of intelligence, added his report. Our network of contacts now extends into the Federation's core worlds. We have allies in their government, their military, and their merchant guilds. Many of them don't even know they're working for us. An elderly Vraxian delegate raised one of his four hands. The slave worlds in the Capella sector are ready to revolt. They have weapons hidden and leaders trained. They only wait for your signal. Samuel nodded. The United Human Territories had grown far beyond what anyone had imagined possible. What started as scattered refugee colonies had become a shadow empire that touched every corner of the galaxy. The Federation still thought humans were primitive exiles scratching out a living in the Outer Rim. Dr. Elena Vasquez entered the chamber carrying a datapad. She was the head of the Prometheus Institute, humanity's most advanced research facility. Her team had made discoveries that challenged everything the Federation thought they knew about science. Mr. President, I have news from the Institute, Elena said. We've achieved a breakthrough in consciousness transfer technology. We can now move a person's mind into a biological or mechanical body without any loss of memory or personality. The chamber fell silent. Consciousness transfer had been considered impossible by Federation scientists. They claimed it was too dangerous, too unpredictable. But humans had done it anyway. Elena continued. We've also completed testing on our living ships. The vessels can repair themselves, adapt to different environments, and even learn from experience. They're not just machines anymore, they're partners. In the military section of the chamber, Admiral Foster smiled. Her flagship, the UHT Defiance, was one of those living ships. It had saved her life more times than she could count, making decisions and adjustments faster than any computer could calculate. On the other side of the galaxy, the Federation High Council was meeting in their crystal towers on Zephyr Prime. The alien leaders discussed trade routes and tax policies, completely unaware that their perfect order was being undermined from within. Council member Zarthek, a tall reptilian creature with golden scales, was reviewing security reports. The pirate activities in the Outer Rim continue to increase. Perhaps we should send more patrol ships to investigate. Another council member, a floating jellyfish-like being called Mordak, disagreed. The Outer Rim is not worth the resources. Let the pirates fight over empty space and worthless rocks. Our attention should remain on the civilized worlds. They had no idea that the pirates they dismissed were actually Admiral Foster's Shadow Fleet, carrying out precision strikes against Federation military targets. Every raid was carefully planned to look like random criminal activity rather than organized warfare. Back on Liberty Prime, Captain Marcus Bell was briefing Samuel on the latest intelligence reports. Mr. President, our agents report that 17 Federation worlds have experienced unexplained technology failures this month. Communication networks going down, transportation systems malfunctioning, defense grids shutting off for no apparent reason. Samuel smiled grimly. The technology failures weren't random. They were caused by quantum viruses created by human programmers, designed to infiltrate Federation systems and cause carefully timed disruptions. The aliens couldn't figure out what was causing the problems because they didn't understand quantum programming. Dr. Elena Vasquez had another surprise. We've also made contact with the Ancients. The chamber went completely silent. The Ancients were a mysterious species that had disappeared from the galaxy millions of years ago, leaving behind only ruins and legends. The Federation claimed they had never existed. They've been watching the galaxy from hidden dimensions, Elena explained. They're impressed by humanity's ability to unite different species and break through scientific barriers that have stopped other civilizations for thousands of years. They want to share their knowledge with us. Samuel felt a chill run down his spine. If the ancients were real and willing to help humanity, it would change everything. The Federation's technological advantage would disappear overnight. Admiral Foster leaned forward. What do they want in return? Elena smiled. They want us to continue doing what we're already doing. Breaking down barriers, freeing oppressed peoples, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They say humanity represents something new. In the galaxy. A species that doesn't seek to dominate others but to lift them up. A young human officer entered the chamber and whispered something to Captain Bell. Bell's face went pale, and he stood up quickly. Mr. President, we have a problem. One of our reconnaissance teams has been captured by Federation forces in the Rigel system. Lieutenant Colonel Danny Murphy and his squad are being held for interrogation. The chamber erupted in concerned voices. Samuel raised his hand for silence. How much do they know? Everything, Bell replied. Murphy's team was carrying encrypted data about our operations, our technology, and our true capabilities. If the Federation breaks the encryption... Samuel stood up slowly. The moment they had all been preparing for had finally arrived. The Federation was about to discover that the humans they thought they had destroyed had actually built an empire that spanned half the galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, Samuel announced, our time in the shadows is over. Prepare for war. Across 47 star systems, human and alien allies received the message. Secret bases activated their defenses. Hidden fleets emerged from dark matter space. Liberation forces prepared to strike at Federation targets throughout the galaxy. The Federation thought they ruled a peaceful, orderly empire. They were about to discover that their perfect order had been built on a foundation of lies, and that foundation was about to crumble. Lieutenant Colonel Danny Murphy hung from chains in a Federation interrogation chamber on Rigel Station. His face was bruised and bloody, but his eyes still burned with defiance. For 3 days, the aliens had been trying to break him, but Danny had been through worse training than anything they could imagine. The lead interrogator, a tall gray alien with black eyes, leaned closer. Human, your silence helps no one. We have found your ship's computer systems. We know you carry encrypted data. Tell us what it contains, and your suffering will end. Danny spat blood on the floor. Go to hell. The alien stepped back and activated a device that sent electric shocks through Danny's body. The human soldier gritted his teeth and refused to scream. Behind the alien, Federation technicians worked frantically on computers, trying to crack the quantum encryption protecting the captured data. High Council member Zarthek arrived at the station in his personal warship. He was furious that a simple pirate raid had turned into something much more complicated. The captured humans weren't ordinary criminals. Their equipment was too advanced, their training too professional. What have you learned? Zarthek demanded. As he entered the interrogation chamber, the lead interrogator bowed his head. Very little, Counselor. The human refuses to talk, but our technicians have made a breakthrough with the encrypted files. They walked to the computer center where dozens of Federation scientists worked on cracking the human codes. One of them, a spider-like creature with 8 arms, looked up from her workstation. Counselor, what we're finding is impossible, she said, fear creeping into her voice. These files contain detailed maps of Federation military bases, trade, routes, and government facilities. Information that should be classified at the highest levels. Zarthek felt his blood turn cold. Pirates do not have access to such information. What else? The technician's hands shook as she brought up more files. Ship designs that are generations ahead of anything in our fleet. Weapon systems we've never seen before, and, Counselor, there are reports here of operations spanning the entire galaxy. This isn't a pirate group. This is a military organization. The files revealed the shocking truth. Humans hadn't just survived their exile. They had built an empire that made the Federation look small and primitive. Secret bases in dozens of systems. Fleets of advanced ships. alliances with species the Federation thought were under control. Zarthek ordered the files to be sent immediately to the High Council on Zephyr Prime. Within hours, emergency sessions were being called across Federation space. The revelation that humanity had secretly become the galaxy's dominant power sent shockwaves through every alien government. Meanwhile, Captain Julie Barnes piloted her stealth ship, the UHT Phantom, through the dark matter streams toward Rigel Station. Her crew of 12 humans and aliens worked quietly, preparing for the most dangerous rescue mission of their careers. "Captain, we're getting close to the station," reported her navigator, a young Vraxian named Kextar. "Federation patrols are heavy in this area." Julie nodded. The Federation had tripled their security after capturing Danny's team, but they were looking for conventional ships. They had no idea that human vessels could travel through dimensions they couldn't even detect. "Take us out of phase space right on top of them," Julie ordered. "Maximum surprise, minimum time exposed." The Phantom emerged from dark matter directly above Rigel Station. For a moment, the Federation sensors couldn't understand what they were seeing. A ship had appeared from nowhere, like a ghost materializing in empty space. Julie's team moved with military precision. Cutting beams sliced through the station's hull. Human soldiers in advanced armor phased through solid walls to reach the detention levels. Within minutes, they had located Danny and his team. But Julie had other orders besides rescue. President Hayes had decided that humanity's secret was already blown. It was time to show the galaxy what they had really become, as a. The Phantom prepared to leave with the rescued prisoners. Julie activated a device that Nathan Price had designed. Every communication system in the Rigel system suddenly came alive with a message that couldn't be blocked or traced. "People of the galaxy," came President Hayes's voice, speaking simultaneously on every planet, every ship, every communication device in the system. "You have been told lies by those who claim to rule you. The Federation is not the peaceful organization they pretend to be. They are oppressors who destroy any species that threatens their power." On Federation worlds, alien citizens stopped what they were doing to listen. On slave worlds, oppressed workers looked up at screens showing evidence of Federation war crimes. On military ships, soldiers saw proof that their leaders had been lying to them for generations. The broadcast continued with footage of Federation attacks on peaceful worlds, documents showing how they suppressed technological development in other species, and recordings of High Council meetings where they discussed keeping other races weak and dependent. Nathan Price had spent decades gathering this evidence through human intelligence networks. Now it was being transmitted across the galaxy faster than Federation forces could react. Zarthek watched in horror from his command ship as the human broadcast reached every corner of Federation space. "Cut the transmission," he screamed at his technicians. "We can't, sir," came the panicked reply. "It's using quantum relay technology we don't understand. The signal is coming from everywhere at once." The broadcast revealed the final, devastating truth. Humanity hadn't just survived their exile. They had built a better civilization than the Federation had ever imagined. A society where different species worked together as equals, where scientific advancement was encouraged rather than suppressed, where freedom mattered more than control. Within hours of the broadcast, uprisings began on 12 Federation worlds. The Zilani declared independence and revealed their human-supplied weapons. The mining colonies of the Outer Belt announced they were joining the United Human Territories. Even on the Federation's core worlds, alien citizens demanded answers from their leaders. The High Council convened an emergency session as their perfect empire began to crumble around them. Mordak's tentacles writhed with panic. "How did we not see this? How did humans build an empire under our noses?" "Because we saw what we wanted to see," admitted another council member. "We thought we were superior. We thought no exile species could threaten us." Zarthek slammed his fist on the council table. "It doesn't matter how they did it. What matters is destroying them before they destroy us. I call for Operation Cleansing Light. Total war against the human empire and all their allies." The Federation's massive war machine began to move. Battle fleets converged from across the galaxy, heading for the outer rim where they thought humanity's main forces were hiding. They expected to find frightened refugees with stolen weapons. They had no idea they were about to face an enemy that had been preparing for this war for over a century. An enemy that had studied Federation tactics, technology, and weaknesses for generations. An enemy that had allies they didn't even know existed. Admiral Nicole Foster stood on the bridge of the UHT Defiance as it emerged from dark matter space at the head of the human battle fleet. Her living ship pulsed with energy, its biomechanical systems singing with the joy of battle. "All ships, this is Admiral Foster," she broadcast to the combined human and alien fleet. "Today we fight not just for humanity, but for every species that has ever dreamed of freedom. Today we end the Federation's reign of fear." The war had begun. The space above Zephyr Prime had never seen anything like what appeared that day. Admiral Nicole Foster's combined fleet emerged from dark matter space in perfect formation, their ships materializing like ghosts becoming solid. The Federation's capital world suddenly found itself facing an armada that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Admiral Jack Morrison III, grandson of the captain who had led the first convoy from Earth, commanded the assault from his flagship UHT Liberty. His ship was a living masterpiece of human and alien engineering, its hull shifting colors as it moved through space like a great whale swimming through an ocean of stars. On the bridge, Jack watched the Federation's home fleet scramble to respond. Their ships moved slowly, following predictable patterns that human strategists had studied for decades. "All units, execute Pattern 7, Jack commanded. "Let's show them what we've learned." The human ships began to dance. They phased in and out of normal space, striking from impossible angles before vanishing again. Federation vessels fired at empty space while human weapons appeared from parallel dimensions to hit their targets with devastating accuracy. High Council member Zarthek stood in the command center on Zephyr Prime, watching his invincible fleet being torn apart by an enemy that shouldn't exist. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Our sensors can't even track them." His military advisor, a robotic creature with multiple optical sensors, replied with mechanical precision. "Their technology operates outside our understanding of physics. They appear to be using dark matter as a medium for both travel and weapons deployment." Above them, the battle raged with a beauty that was both terrible and magnificent. Human ships moved like dancers, their living hulls responding to threats faster than any computer could calculate. When Federation missiles struck them, the ships healed themselves and kept fighting. Captain Julie Barnes piloted the UHT Phantom through the enemy formation, her crew working in perfect harmony with their ship's biomechanical systems. The Phantom could feel the battle around it, dodging attacks and finding targets with an intuition that amazed even its human crew. "Captain, I'm reading massive Federation reinforcements coming from the core systems," reported her navigator Kextar. "Over 3,000 ships heading this way." Julie smiled. "That's exactly what we were hoping for. Signal Admiral Foster. It's time for the final phase." Across the galaxy, the moment that President Samuel Hayes had been preparing for finally arrived. On 47 worlds, human and alien allies received the signal they had been waiting for. The Liberation Protocol was now active. On Kepler 7, Vraxian freedom fighters emerged from hiding with weapons that could slice through Federation armor like paper. On the ice world of Titan's Edge, Catherian rebels activated massive crystal formations that disrupted all Federation communications in the system. On hundreds of other worlds, oppressed peoples rose up with human-supplied technology and training. But the real surprise came from inside the Federation itself. Nathan Price's quantum virus, which had been dormant in Federation computer systems for years, suddenly activated everywhere at once. Defense grids shut down. Communication networks collapsed. Even the mighty Federation war fleet found their ships losing power at the worst possible moment. Admiral Foster watched from the bridge of the UHT Defiance as enemy ships began drifting helplessly through space. "All human vessels switch to humanitarian protocols. Disable their weapons but protect their life support. We're here to liberate, not to destroy." The living ship beneath her feet pulsed with agreement. The Defiance had been her partner for 20 years and had understood her desire to win without unnecessary killing. Together they had learned that true strength came from mercy as much as from power. On Zephyr Prime, President Hayes's image appeared on every screen in the capital city. The Federation had tried to block the transmission, but their quantum relay networks had been compromised from within. There was no stopping the message now. Citizens of the galaxy, Hayes began, his voice calm and confident. Today marks the end of the old order and the beginning of something new. The Federation has ruled through fear and oppression for too long. They told you that different species couldn't work together as equals. They were wrong. The broadcast showed footage from human worlds where dozens of species lived and worked together in harmony, cities where Vraxian engineers collaborated with human scientists, schools where alien and human children learned side by side, spaceports where ships from every corner of the galaxy traded freely without fear. We offer you a choice, Hayes continued. Join the Terran Galactic Republic, where every species has an equal voice and unlimited potential for growth. Or continue to live under leaders who see you as subjects to be controlled rather than partners to be respected. In the Federation High Council chambers, the response was immediate. Mordak's tentacles writhed in panic. The outer systems are declaring independence faster than we can count them. Our own people are turning against us. Zarthek watched his empire crumble in real time. Reports flooded in from across Federation space. The Altarian colonies had joined the humans. The Catherian homeworld was in full revolt. Even core Federation species were demanding new leadership and freedom to develop their own technologies. The final blow came when Admiral Foster's fleet was joined by ships that made even human technology look primitive. The ancients had emerged from their hidden dimensions, their vessels glowing with energy that seemed to bend space itself around them. An ancient ship, looking like a crystal sculpture that had learned to fly, approached the UHT Defiance. A voice spoke directly into Admiral Foster's mind, bypassing all communication systems. Humanity has proven worthy of the ancient trust, the voice said. You have shown that a species can grow beyond the need to dominate others. We offer our knowledge to help you build a galaxy where all life can flourish. The war that the Federation had hoped would destroy humanity instead became humanity's greatest triumph. Within weeks, over half the galaxy had joined the Terran Galactic Republic. Federation leaders who chose to surrender were welcomed as equals in the new government. Those who refused to abandon their old ways of oppression found themselves isolated on a handful of worlds, their power broken forever. The final ceremony took place on Terra Nova, a world that existed partially in normal space and partially in dark matter dimensions. It was the perfect symbol of humanity's role as bridges between different forms of existence. Representatives from thousands of species gathered to sign the founding charter of the new galactic government. President Hayes stood before the assembled delegates, looking out at a sight that would have been impossible under Federation rule. Humans working alongside former enemies. Species that had been oppressed for centuries now planning their own futures. Children from dozens of worlds playing together in gardens where crystal trees grew next to earth flowers. 125 years ago, my ancestors were cast out into the darkness, Hayes said. The Federation thought they were sending us to die. Instead, they gave us the greatest gift possible, the freedom to become something better than we had ever imagined. He gestured to the stars visible through the dome above them. Today we look not just to the galaxy we have freed, but to the universe beyond. There are other galaxies out there, other forms of life we haven't met yet. Together, as equals and partners, we will carry the message of freedom to whatever awaits us in the vast unknown. Admiral Jack Morrison, now an old man like his grandfather had been, watched human and alien children run laughing through the halls of the new capital. Some of them were his own grandchildren, growing up in a galaxy where they would never know the fear and oppression that had defined the old order. The human empire was complete, but it was an empire unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. An empire built not on conquest and control, but on cooperation and the infinite potential that came from letting every species reach for the stars together. In the darkness between galaxies, exploration fleets were already preparing for humanity's next great adventure. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and for the first time in galactic history, every species would have the chance to discover them together.